Hi, my name is Seleme and welcome to this week's edition of the Confidence Booster. This week I want to talk on a topic I've titled Swimming Beyond the Fishbowl. Swimming beyond the fishbowl. You know, you get different kinds of fish in the world. You get fish that swim in the rivers and the seas, and then you get fish that swim in fish bowls. Fish bowls represent the comfort zones in our lives, the places where we've stopped growing, where we've stopped expanding ourselves. The interesting thing is that fish are not created to dwell in the fish bowls. They're created to dwell in the vastness of the sea. But there are so many people that settle for fish bowl lives. Why do people do that? The first reason is that the fish bowl is familiar. You know, 10 times, 100 times a day, you see the fish swimming around and around in the fish bowl. So it knows what's going on in the fish bowl. Maybe you've been in a position for years at your workplace and you know exactly what's going on. There's a predictability about it. And in that predictability, you found comfort. It is a comfort zone that you've settled in. But the thing about it is that the size of the fish bowl makes it familiar. But the size of the fishbowl also means that you can only grow to a certain point. You know, when you go out of your way to avoid challenges, you're also going out of your way to avoid opportunities. You have to grow beyond the fishbowl. You have to grow beyond the point of your comfort zone. You have to say, you know what, I'm not made for this fishbowl. There's a higher level I can go to. I can go back to school and outgrow this position. I can read a book and learn more about what I want to do so that I can go out there and do it. We are not made for the fishbowl. We are made for the sea. We are not made to be small. We are made to be great. The second reason that people settle for the fishbowl is that in the fishbowl, you depend on somebody else to feed you. In the morning, you'll see the fish owner coming and sprinkling a bit of food for the fish to eat. And that's so placé, that's so nice, that's so comfortable. But the downside to that is that you then depend on somebody else for your sustenance. You're not independent. You always be relying on somebody else to feed you. And they decide what you're going to eat. They decide what you're going to get paid at the end of the month. Whereas if you say, I'm going to grow beyond this, I'm going to develop myself, you are then writing your own check. You are giving yourself the opportunity, the possibility to say, you know what, I'm going to decide how much I make. You know, if you were to grow out of the fishbowl and you said, I'm going to go and start my own business, then, you know, you don't have to wait for month end to be payday anymore. Any day can be payday. Because why? You've decided that I'm going to outgrow this fishbowl. Another thing about depending on somebody else to feed you is that they can suddenly decide, you know what, I'm not going to feed you anymore. We are downsizing, we are retrenching. But because you've left your destiny in somebody else's hands, then you've become vulnerable. So that's the second reason. People want to be in the fishbowl because they can depend on somebody else to feed them instead of going into the sea. When you go into the sea, you know, you decide what you're going to have today. I had that yesterday. No, I'm going to have this today. That's the freedom that comes with outgrowing the fishbowl, swimming beyond the fishbowl. The third reason that people stay in the fishbowl is because of fear. You know, in the sea, there are sharks, there are whales, there are all sorts of creatures that could potentially eat you. When you decide that you're going to go into business, there's a fear that comes. You know what if I fail? What if I chase my dream and I fail? What if I go back to school and I fail? But the thing about it is that you have to do it afraid. The people who have built the great businesses, the people who have built empires, the people who have great marriages, they have had to do it afraid. It was Nelson Mandela who said, the courageous man is not the one who does not feel fear. The courageous man is the man who confronts his fear and overcomes it. So you have to do it afraid. You have to confront the fear and do it afraid. Do it afraid and win. A lot of times what we imagine to be such a fearful thing is not as big or as bad as we think it is. A lot of the things we fear, we ought not to fear. They are not worth fearing. You have a sea-sized destiny. Don't limit yourself by living a fishbowl-sized life. Thank you.